Welcome back to Lenovo Smarter Stories, Episode 3. Today we're diving into how artificial intelligence is transforming the workforce, making it more inclusive, flexible, and accessible. From hybrid workspaces to the gig economy and beyond, AI is revolutionizing how we all work, live, and play. Joining me today are four thought leaders who are each at the forefront of this AI evolution. Dr. Suad Al-Shamsi, an aviation expert and engineer; Thibaut Dusson, Director of Services and Solutions Group Meta at Lenovo; Rania Hamad, a fashion influencer and disability advocate, known for describing herself as partially bionic, mostly human; and Mazen El-Nagib, PR and Communications Manager at Lenovo Mia. We have such an incredible panel, and I'm beyond excited for today's discussion. So let's get started, shall we? Firstly, I'd like to invite Dr. Suad Al-Shamsi and Thibaut Dusson to kick off our first part of our discussion. I want to dive in here. I'm super curious because you're the first female aviation, I can't even say the word, it's so complicated, but you're the first female aviation engineer in the UAE. That's quite remarkable. I mean, what's your journey been like in the aviation industry? Because it must have been quite a colorful one.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us today here, and it's a privilege to be with Thibaut. To be honest, to be the first, I never thought about it. I thought about a small girl that's passionate about technology, innovation, and when you see the beautiful of the aircraft in the sky, who never fell in love with it? So I decided to be an aircraft engineer. I wanted to fix it. So in the whole journey, took me 18 years to work and 7 years of education till I finished my PhD in aerodynamic system. And originally, I did all my degree in aeronautical engineering, which more in science, technology, how the maintenance of the aircraft, the design part, and research now about the future of the aviation industry. So the whole journey, it's about technology, science, and it's a woman wanted to be in a field is different. A field is a male-dominated field, and people think that you cannot do it, you cannot success. And here I am. I'm one of the example. We have many examples worldwide, and I'm happy to continue in this field.
I think it's so beautiful what you said there as well. When you look up and you see an aircraft, it's carrying these dreams actually of people, because there's so many places that aviation transports you to. Have you ever thought of flying your own airplane, or would I just call you the captain of one of the ships within Lenovo?
I never quite, no, not really. But thank you very much, Doctor. It's very a pleasure. It's all mine to be with you today. No, obviously not. I've always wanted to be in IT and work for Lenovo.
Of course you did.
So it's amazing.
But no, I've always absolutely amazed to see what we can do now in our days. Like we were talking about it later on today, that you can actually do 6 different countries in the space of 4 weeks, which has never really been possible before. And I think we all missed it as well when COVID actually hit us. And for us to be able to fly again is absolutely wonderful. So, and because of people like you, we can obviously fly even safer. So thank you very much.
Thank you. But I like what you said, like what you see, the technology help people to be in different country in the same time. And he's as technology, and for us, we need this laptop, we need this technology, we need the smartest. And when it's come to reach to different country in the same time, different communication. So I think this is the privilege of the technology right now compared, and COVID show us a lot what we can do from just pressing a button and from home.
And I think that's also wonderful, once again, how the different industries come together, and everything actually is symbiosis. You need aviation needs
Need the
technology.
Yes.
We also spoke about AI, and that's something that's quite topical right now.
Yeah.
But I wanted to find out from you, as somebody who's deeply involved in AI, have you seen some of the applications already in various industries successfully applied?
Yes, of course. And we saw a lot of that with the hybrid workforce being in the forefront of what's happening right now. So obviously, companies around the world need their employees to work from anywhere. AI actually developed a lot of tools to be able to work from different locations. And it's not just obviously about the system of communication that we have, but it's as well security, software. It's the capability as well that those artificial intelligence tools give us to be able to take notes, to send emails, to be able to, to distribute all those notes to all those participants. And in a sense, to gain so much more time, so that we can actually be more creative in a sense, right? We don't have to do all that manual work we used to have to do before. So artificial intelligence in the hybrid workplace is obviously key and is super important. And I'm sure it's going to help a lot as well on the aviation side.
It does help because it's not only communicating with the passenger, it's the way how the ground staff communicate with the cabin crew, communicate with the air traffic controller. I think the AI, it's not just a tools. It's a communication, it's safe for the environment, with the design. It's the future of many industry. And as an aviation industry is growing, expanding, you see many of company, either airlines, either manufacturing, they are growing with the number of the fleet, with the number of the passenger, and high destination and high demand. And the passenger always require for the best. So I think AI, it's not within only the maintenance, is the streamline of the time, the cost efficiency, is the environment. It's about the full operation, how it's saving the time and it's giving the best result to reach to full operation. So it's I think it's full operation. It's compared with previous. You can see it's either you can use paper or emails. Today it's the full communication with, through some of tools. It's helped a lot to reduce the time, it's reduced the cost as well, and it's helped a lot in design for many manufacturing. So it's very important. Yes, it's not just an application or tools, it's a way of communication and better a future for the aviation industry.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thibaut, I wanted to find out from you. I mean, we were speaking about AI, and I think at the end of the day, we all sort of differ on how we define AI. Some of the applications, Dr., you were referring to, those are AI applications. But how would you define AI in terms of how it transforms the workforce? And I know it's a difficult question.
It is a difficult question because no one really agrees on the term, right? Artificial intelligence, in a sense, if you go and search it on Google, AI is going to come back with an answer, right?
And can any of us define ourselves?
It's difficult. So obviously it is an automation of what the human brain can actually do, right? If in a pure sense of the term. But it means a lot of things for a lot of people and a lot of applications, like we talked about. I think artificial intelligence is going to take us to the next level of evolution. So, like every single new inventions are really taking us forward. I think artificial intelligence is going to be the next step for us to go even further. Is it going to reduce the work week to 15 hours, like Keynes was saying in 1930s? Probably not, right? I guess what's going to happen is that it's going to help us to go and try to find solutions to the biggest problem that we have at the moment in the world, whether it's what's going on in terms of production, what's going on in terms of security, what's going on around the world in terms of climate change, trying to find solutions, how we combat a green gas and that sort of thing. So I think it really is going to help us to move forward and to go in a better direction. There's a lot of problems at the moment in the world that we don't have the solution for. And artificial intelligence would be able to help us towards those questions that we have.
And I think I can add something. It will help us faster for especially leaders, for decision maker. I think when it came to climate change and how the country and the world are very focused about the sustainability and the environment, for leaders to have the decision making very fast. With the growth, maybe yes, we are not reducing the number of hours we are working, but to take the decision and make it faster, I think AI, it will help a lot in many industry and many leadership style will be changed because of the AI.
I think so too. I think the speed of making decisions is definitely going to change. And then as well, it's going to take away a little bit of bias. which because we all have bias when we make decisions, right? And we're hoping that AI can actually take care of those bias and really give us a couple of solutions and decision to be made pretty quickly, rather than trying to figure out a solution by ourselves. So I see that as a great addition to the human. I don't think it's going to replace humanity. I think it's just going to make it better.
Yes, will not replace some of the area will be replacing the human, but not the full. But I think with it's coming to the strategy and breaking the barriers and show the world what the company can do, especially when you have a big demand. From technology side, they have a huge demand from aviation industry, and I think a lot of industry have the high demand. It will help in planning, strategy, financial, and calculating the risk of what is required. And I think rather than we do the plan for example 5 years or 2 years, we will have it for 10 years in advance.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to help.
Yes.
For sure, I agree.
Now we have the vision of a 2030. We reach it very fast. Most of the country, they have this 2030 vision. So when you see with these tools and with this technology, like United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and many countries, they reach to this vision before even we reach this years. And I think now we are ready to think about 2035 and 2040.
Well, we can, because we can create models that help us to actually go and think that far. Yeah.
And I think the great thing about AI is that it clears up space in our minds, hopefully, by doing the tasks which require unnecessary brain power, and we can focus on solving the real big problems of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the creativity will still be ours. And I think, well, it'll free up space for our brain to look at after, art and how to be creative in different environments. And I'm hoping that AI will take care of the mundanity that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
We were actually speaking about that as well. Even scientists need art in order to. So hopefully AI gives us time for that.
Definitely.
And I think it's important, yeah.
What are some of the pain points, or what I call them challenges, that some businesses may face when it comes to the transition to AI models?
Well, there's a lot of challenges that they have. First of all, the data, the access to data is not always easy. The quality of the data as well. Skills, not everybody has the skills to be able to do that. And I think so those are the challenges that the people have at the moment, some of the companies have at the moment. So we trying to help the companies with digital workplace solutions, whereas we're looking at different elements within the workplace, whether it's security, whether it's communication, whether we look at endpoint management, if you will. And then we look at the data where it is and trying to extract that data and make sure that we are giving the answers that the company are looking for. So it could be on configuration space. For instance, we were working with a bank not so long ago, and they were basically giving the same type of equipment to all the employees, right? But it wasn't efficient. It wasn't cost effective, and the employees were not exactly happy either. So what we did is that we put a Lenovo device agent inside the machine to try to find out which department was using the technology and how. And we came back after a month of data to the customers and saying, well, your marketing department uses the laptop that way. Your salespeople use it that way. Your finance people use it a different way. So we were able to tailor, if you will, the IT equipment to the department that they have. And what happened is the customer basically had a lot less cost because they were buying the right equipment for everybody. And then the end user, which is the employees, were a lot happier because they were getting exactly what they wanted. So if you got this, it's nothing to do with artificial intelligence, but in a way it explains how you can use the data within a company to make your life a lot easier. And then you can infuse that with artificial intelligence to try to manage the environment in a more effective way. So that's basically what we see at the moment. A lot of people don't know how to do it. They don't know how to extract value from the data, and artificial intelligence eventually will help them to do so.
I think that's so valid, though, because it is true. I think most of us have these smartphones, but we're not actually sure how to use them. And I suppose once we learn how to incorporate AI, then only we'll be able to facilitate and make sure that we get those hours that we're actually wanting to win by using AI. But I want to pose this question to both of you. What advice would you give to industries that are a bit hesitant to adopt AI because they do feel that it might disrupt their traditional ways of work?
Oh, that's a great question.
Very good one.
I think it's important to really start sitting down and discussing what do you want from artificial intelligence. What problems are you trying to solve? What are the solutions are you trying to get to? And what is it really going to help you with, right? And those moments are actually critical. You need to be able to define them specifically to try to find solutions to the problems that you have. It's very difficult for any company, in a sense, to figure out what is AI going to do for me, because they're scared of not using it because they're going to lose their competitive edge. But in a way, you need to figure out, okay, what are the problems that I have in front of me at the moment, and how can artificial intelligence help me to solve those problems? So I think those are the questions you need to ask first, and then from there, trying to figure out which model am I going to put in place to be able to facilitate those issues that I have here.
But before that, I think we need to raise the awareness, because still many people, they don't understand what is it AI, and compare with different generation. If I will come in the young generation, when I'm talking about my son, for example, I have 10 and 6, and you have 2 kids, and I think this the new generation is different than our generation and maybe the older. So to raise the awareness, the company should, before implement any AI, either application, either tools, either a new technology coming into, or a new, for example, we were talking before about the new taxi. It's coming to Dubai and worldwide, robots, all this innovation technology. Before I come and go to the people public, I need to raise awareness. What does it mean, the AI, and why we need it, and what the problem, and what it will help to solve it, and what the benefit. There are risks, there are challenges, and to use it into the right way and not lose time, not lose cost, and put the company in risk, or put the employee in risk. I think to educate people, to get the awareness and check what is it the problem, and don't compare each industry is similar. So when it's come to the aviation, is different than medical, different than technology, different than marketing. And I think to understand what is the needs to implement such AI to the company is most important, and then to find the problem and find the solution.
So, if I'm understanding correctly, Dr. Suad and Thibaut, what you're both saying is that AI should actually enhance the human experience as opposed to taking away from it, and as opposed to replacing humans, it's actually enhancing the human experience. Is that the right message, I think, that we're trying to?
Yes, I agree. I completely agree with what you say. I mean, and I'll take a concrete example I say, hopefully I will take it home. If I work with my team, I'm not interested in them writing the right email or taking the right notes or being able to put a presentation together. That's not the creativity that I'm looking for. I'm looking for my team to be able to find solutions into different problems that we have, or being creative with our customers, right? So I want them to be freed up to those mundane tasks that we have in front of us and be more creative. So for me, AI, just like a phone, a laptop, it's going to create a superhuman, just like the plane did that for us as well. And trying to give us an ability to work on things that are important and that will bring real value to the workplace. So I don't see AI as replacing people. I think AI is going to give people some more time to be more creative.
And I think I agree with Tepa as well. It will be helping and supporting more than replacing. It might replace some job. I'm sorry to mention this.
But we
Maybe
have to be true as well. That is.
will replace some job, replace some skill. I think, for example, when it's come to the aviation industry, we replace paperwork with an AI application, and it's worked very well. And I think it will be helping to get into the bigger result than a smaller, saving time, but it will not replace 100% the human. I think it's part to, again, I will say awareness, that it will help the human for better future.
I like that. And I think that's a good part for us to end off this part of the conversation, because I want to bring in some more guests to help us investigate this further. An enlightening discussion indeed. And a huge thank you to both Dr. Suad and to Thibaut for sharing their insights on AI's impact on the workforce. You've given us a lot to think about as we're navigating this evolving landscape together, because I think that's the whole thing. We're all learning from each other and from the different industries. Now, part two. We're going to now speak about inclusivity and the gig economy. We're keeping the momentum going, and I'm thrilled to welcome our two next guests to the panel. Rania Hamad, a fabulous fashion influencer and disability advocate, and Mazen Al-Najib, PR and communications manager for Lenovo Mia. Welcome, Rania and Mazen. Very, very good to have you here. And I wanted to ask you quite a couple of questions, but we're going to delve right in. You call yourself, Rania, partially bionic or partially bionic, mostly human. I love the tagline because it brings up all these ideas of a superhero, which you have really become because you inspire so many people in similar situations. How would you say that this has framed your identity and helped you to be in a position to do what you do?
First of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to share my journey. So I became an amputee 6 years ago. It was in 2018. I wasn't even partially bionic. I was fully human. And I remember the second day the doctor came and he told me, "You have a rare amputation and you won't be able to walk again." A year after, I traveled across the world to the US and I had my first prosthetic leg done. And in a week's time, I started to walk.
Wow.
And at this time, I was like very fascinated and grateful at the same time that such technology is available to make my life better and regain my life back. And in 2020, then I started my journey on Instagram because I really wanted to normalize how people look at people with disabilities. I really wanted to break free from expectations of society towards me. And then since then, I grew bigger and bigger on social media. I started to be recognized and featured in many magazines, among them being on Vogue digital cover, Vogue Arabia.
I saw Elle magazine as well. I've
Yes.
seen quite a number of
Yeah,
publications.
quite few. And I'm very actually grateful to be in this position right now. And I'm very happy that I know that it has been a very difficult journey, but at the same time, it has been a journey that enlightened me and made me see the future under a different light.
I think for me, what I take from that is how you've taken something that some people might have seen as a disaster, but you've actually changed it into something which gives hope to so many people, and you've actually completely flipped that notion on its head.
Yes. So my prosthetic leg is quite advanced. Once I land my foot on the floor, it initiates a step or a stride to make it easier on me to walk and to save more energy. And also it's connected to my phone through an app. And through this app, I can monitor my steps. I can check when it should be charged. So I need to charge it every day. So AI has actually enhanced my life. Everything now is much easier on me through the app and through the technology that is embedded inside the device itself. I'm very grateful that I'm living actually in an era where we can actually use such technology in regaining a life back.
I find that so inspiring, and it sounds so futuristic, but it's actually happening right now. I wanted to find out from you, Mazen, when we speak about inclusivity and disability, for example, we're speaking generally about physical disability. But when we're speaking about technology, disability could also not being able to access it. Could you define diversity and inclusion in the context of the modern workplace today, and also why that is so essential for organizations?
Of course. First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm usually the one behind the camera, but someone pulled in a big favor and I'm here now. When we
I'm
talk
glad
about,
you're here.
yeah, I couldn't say no, basically. So when we talk about diversity, we talk about the differences in us human beings that make us different from one another. We talk about race, gender, age, culture, religion, etc. And those are really important. It's a fact. It's something that we cannot hide. It's not a concept. So when we then talk about inclusion in the theme of a workforce, it means having all these differences represented within that workforce so people feel that their voices are heard and they can also give back to their communities. And in terms of diversity and inclusion, this is really important because it's not just a moral factor, it's also a business imperative. So it's not just for the sake of having diversity. Diversity ignited by inclusion is what leads to critical thinking and an innovative space where solutions can be developed. And ultimately, this gives companies business advantages. So if you look at the figure specifically, Boston Business Groups actually says that 19% more revenue is generated by companies that have more diverse teams. So it's an absolute business imperative.
Absolutely. It does make business sense, and it also makes sense in terms of the bigger societal issues that we're addressing. I also wanted to find out, how is Lenovo leveraging AI to foster diversity and inclusion? And I would say particularly for individuals who have traditionally been excluded from certain industries.
At Lenovo, we have something called a Product Diversity Office. And this is a department that basically looks at all the Lenovo products and software to make sure that they are inclusive and can be used by the masses. Whether our facial recognition cameras can pick up different skin tones, whether the accessibility options such as the sound and the visuals are good for people with impairments, or whether the buttons are big enough for people with different finger sizes or maybe an amputation. This is basically how we include diversity and inclusion within our products. But also in terms of AI, we've started to use large language models now to help people with speech impediments who cannot speak or maybe have lost their voice due to disease, to allow them to use that technology to use eye-to-speech pattern to actually speak to different audiences or maybe even their family members, just to allow them to communicate. And that's just one example. There's many, many others.
It's amazing because it does all sound so futuristic, but
Absolutely.
it's possible. You know,
Yeah.
if enough minds are applied, it is possible.
The technology is there. You just need a diverse team to put it together. That's pretty much it.
Wow, I'm learning a lot. Bernie, I wanted to find out from you. Of course, I follow you on Instagram now. As somebody who's both a fashion influencer and an advocate for people with disabilities or people of determination, how do you see AI impacting these two areas? And I want to say, how would you see it impacting this, especially in terms of creating more visibility and greater opportunities for these two worlds?
I think AI has impacted the fashion industry a lot. Now we do have virtual try-ons. You can actually put on the shoes online. You can put watches online, and we also have the e-commerce. E-commerce has been there for a long time, but it has been enhanced, and it helps a lot of people not go to the store and waste their time, especially for people with disabilities who can't physically move to order everything from home. So AI has created these tools for influencers and for agencies as well to understand the audience, as I said, as an intermediate language
yes.
between the audience and the influencer.
So, Rania, what I'm hearing you're saying is that AI has actually helped you to land your messaging to your followers in a much more better, accurate way.
Yes, more efficient way. Exactly.
So it's a good way of looking at it, and it is true. It's another way that AI is enabling us to bring content, the relevant content, to the right audiences.
It uses that data to make that relatability a little bit better between
connections.
audiences and influencers.
Connecting people, absolutely. Now, Mazen, I wanted to find out from you, when you mentioned that AI has tremendous potential, it also comes with challenges, though. And I think that's especially when it comes to ensuring that we don't, I would say, inadvertently sort of reinforce biases that exist. What would you say are some of the barriers that are linked to achieving diversity, the barriers to achieving that, and diversity and inclusion in AI? And how can we say that we can sort of help companies to overcome those barriers?
So I think with AI models, we've already seen biases within them. We've seen HR hiring softwares that discriminate against certain demographics, even though they have the same skills. We've seen criminal justice system AI models that discriminate against certain groups of society, even though they've done nothing wrong. So AI models are only as good as the data that they've been trained on. If that data is biased, then the AI model is going to be biased. What's really important is to have people from different perspectives, different backgrounds, different ideas, putting this data together to make sure that they can stress test the data before it's put into the AI model. So in terms of the diversity of people working on the data, that's how diverse and how non-biased your AI model will be. So that's really important. And then again, the auditing and mitigating the biases within the model is something also that helps.
interesting because again, all of these different careers that exist in the future. Somebody was also saying to me that prompt engineers, that's going to be a very necessary
Yeah.
position in the future. And it's, again, as influencers wasn't even a word 10 years ago.
It's a very different world in which we live and which our children will inhabit one day. So I've been hearing about this term, and it's been gaining traction quite a lot, the gig economy. So I need to be educated here. I don't fully understand what it means just yet, but Rania, could you share some light on this, on what the gig economy actually means in the context of what you do too?
So the gig economy is exactly what I'm doing. It's shifting a 9 to 5 job or a full-time job to like working as a freelancer or have like projects to work on. So basically, to me, it's very convenient and suitable to my lifestyle.
Especially as a working mom as well.
Exactly. As a working mom, I own my time. I can work different things, which is very diverse, like being a public speaker or a model, or I'm actually working on a book for kids as well. So these I wouldn't be able to do without the gig economy and working a full-time job.
It sounds absolutely inclusive again, because it means
Absolutely.
that people who, for example, live far away from a city, they're as included in the workforce.
And for companies to attract good talent, they also need to mitigate their lifestyles in terms of, you know, she's a working mother. So maybe halfway during the day, she might need to leave to go pick up her child from school and come back, which means...
Or travel and work from abroad, you know?
Exactly, which means a 9 to 5 will constrain her working hours. So
Exactly. Yeah. And for people who are like on the creative side and they like to have their own businesses, I think the gig economy is the perfect thing for them, because when they can be actually creative, start their own business and do whatever, like give all their time to the business instead of working like as a full-time job. So I think it's very important to have diversity. Some people, they do like the 9 to 5 job, and some others it's not very convenient, and which makes it perfect to work remotely from different countries or to have different projects to work on at the same time.
And I think the good thing there is that we measure productivity. We don't measure how much time has been sat at the desk.
we measure the hours we
100%.
put in, but we don't measure the outcomes.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And I think a lot of organizations now are starting to wake up to that. So you've seen organizations go to a 4-day work week.
Yeah.
Maybe next year it's going to be a three-day work week, and maybe the year after that, gig economy.
Especially after COVID, by the way. After COVID, I think a lot of companies have moved toward the strategy of working flexibly or remotely from different places, which have saved time, which have saved space as well, and they can hire actually people with disabilities from different places across the globe without them having to be physically there.
It's amazing. It opens up a whole world of possibility for ourselves, but I think also very importantly for future generations. And that, I think, is something that we're all very, very excited to see. Thank you so much. Wow, it's been absolutely amazing to listen to your stories. And we see the transformation, the future. It's literally being created right before our eyes. Of course, to see how AI is enabling inclusivity, flexibility, and new ways of working, absolutely phenomenal. To wrap up our conversation, and I love the fact that we've got such diverse opinions, so I want to hear your opinions on what I'm going to say now. So Reid Hoffman, he's the co-founder of LinkedIn, and he predicted that by 2034, the traditional 9 to 5 job will no longer exist, and everyone will be working according to the gig economy.
How does that make you feel in terms of your professions or in terms of generally the workforce?
To be honest, I agree and disagree at the same time. Some of the job, it will be replaced with the AI, and we saw it recently. At some of the part of sector, they depend on tools, application. We saw many projects coming, and it's the vision of 2030 for many countries. But I am conscious about it, how it will work. For that, it's very important to educate people and not to replace them, to train them how to control this AI and the tools, equipment, application. I think we need the human in the end. So it's between agree and disagree. I think some of it, as the AI will be replaced, many of engineering major without naming them. By 2030, this you will never see a student actually learning or having this major because it will be replaced with the AI. And this is a fact of research. We've done it for more than 5 years in the engineering. So I think some of the major, it will be replaced with the AI, but still we need the human. So between agree and disagree, yes.
Both sides.
Yeah.
I like that though, and I also think that it is also quite important that our educational systems keep up with that, because it also doesn't make sense that we continue teaching our children in a way which prepares them for jobs that exist now and not for jobs
Because
that
you
exist in the
see,
future.
after COVID, is a lot of things being replaced. Today, if education system, if I compare it with myself and my kids right now, they're using tablets, they're using laptop. So I think the replacement is a solution more than fully replacement, 100%.
I agree, and I guess Liba was trying to be thought provocative there, right? I mean, changing the way we work in the next 7 years, well, that's quite fast. I think Keynes and Marx and all sorts of people actually talked about innovation, thinking that it's going to change dramatically the way we work. I can tell you right now, my boss doesn't think so, and he doesn't want really us to be changing the way we work, right? So there's a lot of companies as well are asking the people to come back to work because, you know, a company culture is not by a screen, right? It's about a real connection with people. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that yes, there will be an evolution, but I don't think it's going to be that dramatic.
The question should be, can you trust it as you trust a human?
AI is genuinely going to enhance the way we live and work and play, but it's always going to need human oversight. Whether that human works 9 to 5, 8 till 3, 8 till 2, it doesn't really matter. Human oversight is always going to be needed to make sure that the technology is A, in check, and B, it's working for the betterment of humanity rather than against it.
If we can get extra hours of fun out of that, why not? Huh?
I do disagree, that it's going to be fully by 2034 or 2035 that everyone is gonna be like working as a gig economy, because most of the jobs are, yes, relying on internet, but some are not. And I don't believe that this is going to be the best case scenario, although I know that AI enhances the human experience in everything and it makes everything like one click away, you get everything you want. But the social interaction is so important. And this is a factor that you can never get with the gig economy. If everyone is working remotely and from home, this is going to actually have a lot of mental toll on everyone. So even if this is going to happen, I think it has its own pros, but there is a lot of cons as well.
Thank you so much for your insights
Yes.
and for sharing your thoughts on this incredible world and the future that AI is bringing to the workforce. We'll leave it at that. I'd love to hear your views as well, so please comment down below and let us know how you feel. It's clear that AI is not just making business more efficient, but also about creating opportunities for people from all walks of life. Whether that's in aviation, business, freelancing, or education, AI is reshaping our world, making it smarter, more inclusive, and more accessible for all, with smarter AI for all, creating a smarter workforce for all. Thank you so much again to Dr. Suad, of course, Thibaut, Rania, and Mazen. Thank you very, very much for your incredible contributions today. And as always, thank you for joining us on Lenovo Smarter Stories. We'll see you on the next episode as we continue exploring the limitless possibilities AI holds for the future. Until next time.
Lenovo.